So, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. So, I did say that, look, I appreciate that not everyone has the time to sit through the Letecia Stauch case, the court proceedings. Some of us have things to do. We don't have hours and hours and hours to spend. And with that being said, let's get straight into it. I'm going to be given daily updates where I can, because sometimes there just won't be enough to talk about. But look, this trial has already taken what I would call a bit of a nosedive, and people are already starting to get incredibly pissed off. As the defence, they're not even saying, look, that Letecia Stauch didn't do it. You know, it's not even about that anymore. What it's about is dissociative identity disorder. That's what they're going with. They're saying, look, that basically what happened, Letecia was abused when she was younger by a string of abusers, namely her mum's partners. And when she attacked poor Gannon, she wasn't in fact hurting him, she was hurting the demons of her past. Now, I'm reading between the lines here, because what I kind of take from that is that she had a shit childhood and she was taking out her anger on her stepson. And she's hoping that that's going to wash. And look, what I am going to say is this. I'm going to say mental health, you know me. You know, I am an advocate for mental health, and mainly because when I was growing up, I lived alongside it. My own mum attacked me, and that could have gone horrendously bad. I have the scars to prove it, and she was a very ill woman. So when someone turns around and says about temporary insanity, or someone suffers from a mental issue and it causes them to act out of character, explode, I get it. I get that that can happen. I get that some people have real deep-rooted illnesses and it can cause them to behave in a manner unbecoming of them. But this is where the Letecia Stauch situation becomes very, very different, because we are now knowing that there was seemingly things leading up to the event itself. There's been a phone call, a recording played, and it's showing that Gannon had become burnt in the hours leading up to the incident itself. They're trying to say that it was a candle that had been knocked over, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into the full details of it because, again, there isn't any point, because look, he was hurt. There was things happening to this boy, and in my opinion, it appears to me that this was a situation that had been ongoing. This was he was suffering up until the point, and then beyond what happened, the manipulation and the lies and the calculations that she took in order to try and get out of what she did is unbecoming of someone who suffers from, say, a temporary fit of psychosis. I'm not going to buy it. But people are starting to ask questions now, because they're feeling, look, what are the chances? Is she likely to get off this? Because this is no longer about whether she did it and proven whether she did it or not. This is now a trial that is going to be based upon professionals versus law enforcement. You know, can the defence utilise science and mental health issues and implications in order to get round what is in effect the law? So I looked at some of the things to look out for, and I looked specifically about, okay, so what could you go with? So an insanity defence could lead to acquittal. Diminished capacity and syndrome could acquit or reduce the severity of the offence if defendant cannot form the criminal intent required for the crime. Mentally incompetent to stand trial. We've already seen that she has played that card, and the consequence delays trial until competency regained. And we've seen this already play out. This trial is 3 years in the making. And then finally, guilty but mentally ill. Defendant found guilty but eligible for mental health treatment while incarcerated. And I think that this is likely to be the outcome here. And I thought, it worries me because how many times does the insanity plea get mentioned? How many times? And it says one study found that the insanity defence is only used in about 1% of all court cases, and it is only successful in about 26% of that 1%. So approximately 1/4 of 1% of cases in the US criminal justice system end with a defendant being found not guilty because of insanity. And that gives me hope. It gives me hope because even though my own backstory, as aforementioned, does include a parent who has attacked me in a fit of anger that stemmed from a mental health issue, the outcome was very different. The aftermath was very, very different. So my knowledge of this is through living through it and seeing how someone with a mental health issue navigates what they have done afterwards. And the navigation that Letecia Stauch took with respect of what she did to Gannon. And look, I'm not going to go into the details of exactly what she did to Gannon on this video. But Michelle After Dark, she did a video earlier and she does go into quite graphic an explanation of what she actually did. So I would say if you don't know and you want to know, go and watch the video that she uploaded earlier today. But it was horrendous. It was truly, truly horrendous. And I just, it does make you angry. It does make you angry when people try and pull that card. I was ill, it wasn't me, or they blame their past because of what they've become. And I get that. I get that people's pasts can shape the way they are in the future. You know, some of my quirks, if you like, will no doubt be born from my past. But does your past and abuse turn you into a killer that is able to kill and then try to manipulate to get yourself out of it, and then enable you to later say, well, it was temporary, I was insane, and I just don't buy it. But let me know where you are down below. That was day 2 of the court today, and we've seen Gannon's dad in court today. And you know, this, like I say, there's not a lot that we can say at this stage, because this is, again, as aforementioned, this is about medical. This is about specialists fighting, one to convict, the other to save. Who's going to win? Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.